it is my absolute pleasure to be live, exclusive interview with Jonathan Curtis and Nathan Coe-Marsh 24 hours before the grand opening of this thing, and talk about a massive effort, a dream come true. It is just great to be live with you guys. Go for it, man. Tell me what's going on. I know there's lots of energy, lots of nerves. Congratulations, Jonathan, to all of you, and Tech as well, the crew, all of you.
Yeah, it's amazing to see what's happened here. So what we've got is we've got a space where that is the perfect condition for magic. So up close magic plays beautifully in this room. Stage magic has real production value. It's an amazing experience. It's really come out of nothing. I think less than a month ago, this was a exercise room. Is that right? And this has been created.
It was an exercise room, and they've gutted the exercise room. The reason that we like the exercise room is it has massive air conditioning.
Yeah,
massive air conditioning and filtration, air conditioning. So it's really a great space to put a theater.
Again, I love the vision. To me, as both a performer and producer, I'm just so impressed with the chutzpah, the sheer chutzpah of the vision, and the fact that you've got to start somewhere, and you got to go through, you got to make the mistakes, you got to make the, becomes the template.
I like to think that I've made the mistakes for the past 60 years. I hope I'm done with that.
It's so good to have someone behind the show that's actually a magician. There's so much that we don't have to explain. There's so much that he already understands, and he knows what the audience is looking for, and what to put into the room, and there's fewer disagreements over who's good and who's bad.
That was easy. We take 22 of the best magicians and put them under contract, and that was easy. Paul, who's our agent, he writes and publishes Vanish magazine. So he's got the cover stories, and going back for a decade plus, he knows who's good and who isn't. And same thing, he's a magician. Everybody involved in this thing. That would be Paul Romani.
Paul Romani, absolutely. Now,
Yes.
Nathan, I'm going to start just with you. I watched you on Facebook. You flew out of Florida just a couple days ago. Watched the thing down, and then you're right down immediately dropping into the dress rehearsals. So just give me a quick sense of what you walked into, and again, 24 hours out.
It's been a great experience, man. It's been fun because it's been seeing it develop with the sawdust going on. So we've been doing rehearsals while there are drills in the background, saws, while they're building this amazing thing around us, which is really cool. It gives you a sense of ownership in the entire space. It's been amazing to work with people who really respect performers, and the hospitality has been first class. The focus has been whatever you need is handled. All the little details that add that extra stress when you're going into a situation that you don't know what you're getting into is gone here. And it's just been seamless and great. And we just can't wait. It's this built up anticipation and energy. Can't wait for there to be actual humans in this room experiencing magic and having their minds blown. So we're just ready for tomorrow night and incredibly excited.
Outstanding. Well, obviously what we're seeing is this great backstage view, which I love that. And Jonathan, give me a quick sense. You're the mastermind behind this. So yeah, exactly. You're the mastermind. The Aloha Wizard. I want to give you already a moniker that we're going to, as we watch this build and follow this story. So just give me a sense of how the process and the building, and how have we got to this point, right at the verge of this dream coming to reality.
Well, I was born a small, white, privileged child in... You want the shorter story?
It's been a long, difficult slide downwards.
I got lucky everywhere. So the story is not short to get here, but I think you couldn't have gotten here without that story. And the story is, I was a kid and I had to take the 81H in Los Angeles from the Valley to Hollywood, where I sat every day I could after school. And eventually at the Magic Corner, they said, hey, come behind the counter. And then they said, we're going to pay you because you sell stuff. And then they said, come into the back room. And then they said, manage this place. And this is like years of time. And Bert Green, who owned Magic Corner on Hollywood and Ivar, was really close friends with the Hollywood Magic Shop, a block and a half down the street, and Skinner was running that. So Skinner would come in. He like, I don't want to talk for Mike, but he would come in and go, "Oh my God, I just need a break with real magicians." And he'd come into the Magic Corner from the Hollywood Magic Store, and he'd bring in like Tony Giorgio and these bigger than life guys, you know. I'm a kid. And then they started playing with me because I was a kid. So color changing knives. Okay, we're going to have this guy come in and we're going to show him the new knives. And he's going to give you the knife at one point and show you that it's just a solid white knife. And you're going to take it, you're going to do your switch, and you're going to then change it to a different color, and we're going to get him. And those became more and more and more elaborate, as wont to be with magicians playing with magicians. And, you know, you get jaded at like 16 having dinner with Blackstone and Marvin Roy and, you know, Vernon. And then the Junior Magic Castle opened up, which is part of this story. And you had to be nominated by 2 people. And in that day, it was tough. The first round, they were really, really rough with. And I tried out for Close Up, and it was more than a week. We had to do multiple performances. We had to talk about, we were grilled on magic history. Grilled on book reading and knowing your stuff. And they let in like 33 or 34 people, and only like 12 or 13 were close-up guys. But that now, I'm freaking 16 years old, and I'm walking around the Academy of Magical Arts and Sciences, which no longer exists. But that's my patina. I've grown up in that castle. I had to stay behind this wall. Over on this side, you can only perform on Sundays when you can come out because of the liquor. And then you matriculate at 21 and you're a full member. But boy, I mean, I remember walking into that Magic Castle library, and I had spent years in different cities. Whenever I went to a city, I'd make my mother take me or my father to a library, and I'd run to M for magic. And I walked into the Magic Castle library, ran to M, Mulholland, Millhouse, you know, like, oh shit, it's all magic here. And Vernon and Charlie Miller are chomping on cigars, smoking them in the library.
Right.
Going, don't do that. Don't lie. That's a bad book. That's a bad book. Don't do that. And that's how I grew up, right? So I then went on and started doing magic, and I worked on cruise ships and all that stuff, and I had years and years, but then I have a business sense. So, and college training and the whole bit, and I wound up becoming an owner's representative for cruise lines. So I saw the Lux life and how it needed to be imparted to people. And I also saw magicians be horribly treated all over the place. Everywhere I went, I would see like, oh, it's an actor, your name's on the door, and all that. Oh, it's a magician. Oh, how long's your act by? And I hated it when I was in that position. And I'm like, come on, I'm levitating a Porsche for Pfizer over here in a trade show, and that's got to be worth something. Nope, it's not. So that stayed in my head all this time, because the luxury of the castle, the luxury of the cruise lines, and then COVID hit. And this became the real thing. And I mean, in between all that, I spent 35 years managing Mick Fleetwood of Fleetwood Mac, the drummer. I built restaurants and attractions for him around the world. Traveled all over the world with Fleetwood Mac. Wound up becoming a producer with years and years. Got a Grammy nomination for a Fleetwood album, and you know, so I have friends in Hollywood and the world, right? Which makes it easier to raise money.
Right.
So this needed money. The idea was, it's COVID, and truly, the vice president here of hotel operations, his name is Brian Links, and Brian is a good friend, and Brian wrote to me. He was on Oahu at the time, managing all the outrigger hotels on Oahu. And he said, JT, it's gotta be more to life than this, and what could we do? There's COVID. And I went, look, I already got a list. I got 12 things that capitalize on COVID. And one of them is, hey, hotels need some extra money, and they don't have the bookings, they don't have the corporate, and they're not going to have the corporate even if a magic pill for COVID is found, because it takes time to build those budgets back again. So what if we go to these big corporate hotels, with a lot of money and show them luxury. Not, hey, I'm a magician, I want to pull a rabbit out of my hat for $20 on Friday nights once, but let's just do it right. So we raised, the technical term in business school for how much we raised is a shitload. And we raised a lot of money. And then Brian said, you know what, I'm leaving my job at Outrigger. So he left being a vice president of 6 hotels, marketing and sales, and went, I'm taking the flight. And then one by one, these other guys came in, all of whom know each other because we all are in the Shrine. So Shrine for Children, Shriners Hospitals, we're all in Hawaii. The Shrine is Guam, Japan, Muriatas, Saipan, South Korea, and all Hawaiian Islands. It's not Texas, and we're Dallas. It's a big area. So we work with lots of people who have lots of money who help kids. So most of our investors are Shriners. And a portion of our proceeds, bringing this all together, of every ticket sale, not of our profits, but our ticket sale, whether we make money or not, part of it goes to the Shrine to help children who are in need. And the other half of our donations go to the Magic Castle, earmarked for kids learning, so that which I was given can be passed on in a bigger, badder way. If we run 20 hotels like we're supposed to, that's millions and millions of dollars. These guys have never seen money like this on either level. So we start with Nathan Comarsh, Curtis Cam. Curtis is, thank God he's on Hawaii. I mean, you sit there and go, okay, I can only have like the best of the best. So where do I start? LA, New York? No, the best of the best. If you want coin magic, he's qualified and he's funnier than heck. His work, exquisite at coins. And he and I actually met for the first time a few years ago at a small gig that we were both at, where he came to Maui. It's like, oh my God, Curtis Cam's there. I got to go see this in person. The man knows all, sees all. He's an attorney, so he thinks all, and he knows how to deliver Hawaiiana.
I'm happy to do that, and I think that's going to be my shtick these days.
I think it's your shtick.
The Twitter handle is the Wizard of Waikiki, and I've been doing. I did a show there for 13, 14 years, and people seem to want to hear about. They want to hear, first of all, about the traditional, the very beginnings of Hawaii. And back when we had royalty and that sort of thing. But also, they're just kind of interested in what the people are like now. And I've got a piece that I do that's just in the current Pidgin dialect, and it was a big hit in Texas. It was a bigger hit in Texas than it was over here, because over here they're going, yeah, okay, that sounds about right. But over there, they just thought it was wonderful, and I don't know why, but I'm glad I did it there
because they're peeking into a world they don't normally get to.
Yeah,
that's the whole trick. When you got very wealthy people who are in a hotel. This hotel we're in, minimum room price is $1,000. That's by the elevator near the ice maker and the loading dock. I have that room. The regular hotel rooms here are $2,000 and $3,000 a night, depending on your view and the villa. There is nothing but suites. They're all 2 minimum rooms. So the people that are staying here, first of all, we don't have to do advertising per se, because the hotel's invested in this with us. And so as a partner, they've got concierge and they're making it happen. But those people that come downstairs and come to a night like this, they're looking for something behind the curtain. That's the only thing left for rich people is what's behind the curtain of life. Mm-hmm. What's different? And a story told by somebody who's from here about King Kalakaua and Queen Victoria, 1881, how these 2 island monarchs forged a relationship. That's a behind the curtain peek, and that's what makes life beautiful. Not just for wealthy people, but especially for people who can buy and do everything. You can't buy those stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Curtis becomes very valuable in sharing with us the Hawaiiana here. And we have a whole 7 minutes that starts the show of what King Kalakaua did and how he fell in love with Queen Elizabeth in the Victorian era. This is a Victorian parlor room down to the Chippendale tables. I mean, the investment here is a fortune, just in stuff. It's not chairs. It's some chairs. It's couches. It's love seats. It's big couches. We'll let you around the room and you'll get to see. And then we've got a headliner. We had, at the time we made the decision, we had to pick from 10 or 11. Now we have 22 magicians. And I guess TC Tahoe follows you here in about 10 weeks. They're names that you guys know. Nathan, we wanted, because Nathan, you're going to spend time with these people. He lives here. He gets a suite at the hotel, right? Part of the deal. Can't send him home to Florida every night. So they're going to see him. And what we wanted was deep intellect. We wanted somebody who not only was a magician's magician, but a man who resonated with the talk that is bound to come from having them see him at night and then see him in the restaurant. So what do you show off there? And for us at the Magical Mystery Show, Nathan had me at hello. He had me at his style, which is a boyish charm that is not arrogant. He's not the Mephisto guy. He's the it happened to me guy, and I want to share it with you, and let's have fun, my friend. And that style made me comfortable for this kind of a room. But then I read in Genie magazine his review of Eugene Berger's book. And it was the last book of Eugene Berger. And I looked at how well this guy wrote and how well he thought through the process. But first of all, I want to hang for 12 weeks with that guy. And second of all, everybody else who gets a chance to hang with him will become illuminated in a deep level, and he can talk to this level of people. There are great magicians that probably can't handle that. So we've had to carefully pick sharp, great magicians. And and we just went through a run through, and I've got pretty seasoned theater people over here, and we're watching Nathan. I don't know how he's doing some of this stuff. And I'll watch it again and again. I've already watched it a couple times, and I still don't know how he's doing some of this, and I don't want to know. Which is, I mean, how often do we get fooled?
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah.
So he's really good. He's really good. And when he gets an audience in this room, there's nothing like, I mean, I don't care if you can vanish an airplane on TV. If you can make a coin float in a room that seats 40, you're God. And he's just wonderful. So we're really, really blessed to start this out with two of the world's best artists.
And Jay, you've done shows everywhere, and you've been part of large shows and small shows and everything in between. Have you ever had a showrunner who said he read the reviews in Genie magazine? I don't think so.
That's very cool. Not only that, I mean, the whole backstory. I'll just say I worked at Hollywood Magic. I was one of the junior members. I mean, so much of what the story you're telling me, Jonathan, I was a part of that maybe 1 or 2 years after you. I moved down to LA and got a job working Hollywood Magic in 78. Literally on my 18th birthday, 1978, Earl Nelson, Michael Skinner had just left, but the shops you're talking about, the Tony Giorgio experience, all of these, I remember Tony walks in these big hands and they're like, show the kids something. Just like you said, and you're like, oh my God, these are these greater than life. Charlie Miller and Di Vernon in the library chomping on their cigars. Yeah.
Okay, Jay, you're going to have to edit this out, but here's Tony Giorgio for you. You ready?
All right.
Hey, kid, pick a fucking card. Pick a not that one, you fucking bastard. Get off of my stage.
That was Tony. But I agree. Exactly.
Oh my God. We were on Hollywood. The fucking freaks. They're walking by the door every day. I fucking hate this shit. I just want to act. I'm done with this magic freakdom. Oh, he was a funny guy. That guy could palm this and you wouldn't see it. He was so good, so good. Martin A. Nash, the man. These are old guys. Jim Patton, may he rest in peace. The guys that were one off of the big names that you don't know of. Jules Lanier, the guy that would sit there and go, okay, well, I know this guy and you need that help. I'm going to put you together with so-and-so, you know. Wow. Wow.
Jules Lanier was the one that twisted my arm to join the juniors because I've always been a maverick. You know, I came in, I don't need to be. And he goes, no. He goes, you have to join the junior. And that was it. It changed my whole life. A year later, they changed the rules. I was the youngest performer to ever perform on stage at the Magic Castle because they were like, wow, Peter Pitt, Diana Zimmerman, the whole thing. And Jules was, again, these people that were integral. Had he not like really twisted my arm, I wouldn't be here talking to you.
Dick and Diana Zimmerman spent so much time and energy on that first few years of the juniors. Peter Pitt did. The amount of tutelage, and we just didn't realize what we were getting. I mean, Johnny Thompson, like, let's talk about comedy, kids. In the library with 8 of us, you know?
Yeah, it's incredible.
Okay. It was just an incredible experience. And so I'm bound and determined to give back so that this can become super big in terms of outreach to youth. I mean, your school grades get better if you're a magician. Your business acumen gets better. And Mick Fleetwood used to introduce me to record execs, and I'd come up with whatever was in my plan, and the executive would go like, no, and Mick would go, listen to Jonathan, because he does a chess game in his head, and he knows something you don't know. And I found that out, so you listen to him. And it's true, the chess game, the figure out where you're gonna get screwed comes from, and Nathan and I were talking about this the other day, eventually you will put the die from the die box in the hat as a kid performer when you're starting out, and you'll take out the die instead of the shell. And when you do that, you have a very unpleasant experience. And you learn from that. You learn how to go, I better think about where I'm gonna put that thing and this thing, and what if this falls over, and what if my liquid isn't there, and what if the knife doesn't fit in this thing, and what if the table.
And it's both sides, right?
He's doing a load last night in the rehearsal, and this is pretty for magicians, yeah?
Yeah.
He's doing a load, and he goes to reach for the orange, and the table goes down. And he's like, and he's shoving his hand in for the orange, and the table's going down and down. It was the juiciest bill in orange I've ever seen.
It's delicious, absolutely delicious.
But you learn how to think about it.
It's thinking and gaming it out in advance, and it's also learning that it's learning to roll with it when it happens and build that momentum and keep it going. So absolutely, man.
That's perfect. Let me jump over to you quickly, Nathan, because thank you, Jonathan. That was freaking brilliant. That was like, dude.
I have the long version too, if you want.
Clearly, we came up through some of the exact same ranks. We knew some Jim Patton, every name you mentioned. I've got a dozen stories as well with Johnny Thompson was my primary mentor. So
lucky you.
Well, and let me jump in with this, Jay. You were part of that for me. I was 14 years old at the Tampa Bay Magic Club in Largo in like 1990 something. And you did a lecture that was magic that was like I had never seen before. And that had me the Symphony with the Ring and Ribbon, the things that would just vanish and appear, and it made sense. You needed something, it just appeared. And that hit me really hard and was a big inspiration. So you were part of that for me. So I'll mention that as well.
The giants upon whose shoulders we stand, but the responsibility, just like you're saying, Jonathan, the torch has been passed to us. The ones who were revering are gone. The torch has been passed to us, and now it's our responsibility to push the art forward. And now, Nathan, here you go. You're being brought up, as one of the top international stars. I just love the fact that you've been selected, as I say, a magician's magician, to headline this. And you couldn't have a stronger couple of guys behind you. Curtis Cam, again, one of the top coin artists, performers. I love everything you're telling me. It's so perfectly custom designed and created for this venue, and specifically the Hawaiian startup that kickstart this entire project. So give me give me some quick thoughts on where you're at. You're counting down, Nathan. Dude, 24 hours till showtime, man.
these are the kinds of runs where stuff just hits a different level, right? Because you've got the same room, you've got people moving in and out. This is where you get to really tweak and polish. And what if I use this word here? What if I take this beat here? What if I do this here? So it's really exciting to be in this kind of environment, to be in it and to live in such a beautiful place for 10 weeks here. And I'm pumped. I'm pumped. I'm very excited.
It's not just 10 weeks.
Outstanding.
If your
Thank you.
comic cards are good enough, you can come back.
He says that now.
Thank you. Look, that's fantastic. Thank you, Nathan. We're going to be following this. Obviously, we're going to look forward to. I'm, totally behind you. Now, Curtis, you get sort of the last word here. You've been.
Wow.
You're the man in the center, and as you say, as both of them are acknowledging, and myself as well. Not only do you have the skill, you have the sense, you have the experience, but you carry the culture and the stories that are unique to this venue. When this venue opens up, when the next one opens up in London or whatever, I imagine they're going to draw upon the local stories there. And then this becomes, and I love the fact that, no, he's saying, no, we're going to bring Curtis there.
It'll always be Hawaii. We're doing London. We've got 4 opening up in Oahu. And then after that, we do London. The London will be the inverted part of Victorian age. It'll be all Victorian Hawaiiana in London. So I will be flying out Curtis Cam before you can think of it to be the ambassador of Hawaii. Look, you go to Victorian stuff, even the wrought iron has pineapples on it. Where did the pineapples come from? It came from Kalakawa's visit with Queen Victoria, and it became, our cultures intermerged. So I can't take and put a Victorian table in there for the Londoners because they live on that. But I can put a Hawaiian world in there that was of Victorian age and have them thrilled. And it's just the other side of the pond.
And I'm trying on my hula skirt now. So.
Yeah, and we are skipping a little bit of the 1930s, 1940s, because Max Malini retired here. Max Malini's final performances in the world were right here in Hawaii, and Hawaii was the only place that Max could find a king in America, and he was used to performing for royalty. And there's stories about Max's performances here, and I'd like to think that we continue the tradition of the parlor magic, the minimalist approach and the interactive approach that he had. And there's a new book. Steve Cohen has a new book out on Max's stuff, and I think I'd look forward to sort of incorporating some of that into what we do. Maybe doing a Black Ice or something like that.
So in a day, basically, the torch gets passed, and Nathan Coe Marsh gets to perform for the king.
Wow, outstanding! Thank you for that. For all of you, I really want to just thank you all. We're going to keep following this up. I fully recognize that this is kicking off an incredible story. I'm hoping it's a legacy. You're beginning a legacy of magic, that venues that continue to push the art forward. Congratulations. Aloha. We're supporting you from behind the scenes, from afar, but from the spirit of the art, in the name of all these we've just talked about, just wish you all the best opening night as we launch into this first run of this project.
Thank you, my brother. Mahalo nui loa. And look, when you get tired of that cold, miserable weather and your outrageous viral laws over there, feel free to call our agent. We'd be happy to have you for a month or two. Come perform.